Hello, my name is Bill Bross, and I'm a developer here at Veith Consulting. Today's video is going to go over how to set up and configure the booth registration module within event registration. The first thing that we need to do is enable it overall for global settings for all event registration. The way to do that is to go to the configuration menu right here at the top of the screen. If you're using an older version of the MMS, down at the bottom of the admin options, there's an option for MMS configuration, and that goes to the same place here. So we're going to click on this one. This takes us to our main configuration page. Where we need to go from here is down to event registration configuration. This is where we're going to find all the global options for event registration throughout the system. Now you'll see here we come up with this accordion menu. Clicking on any of these titles here will open up the options down below it. So the one that we want here is booth options. And clicking on that one shows three different options that we have here. The very first one is called Enable Booth Registration for Events. This is the one you'll want to check if you want to make this available for your registrations. As soon as this one is checked, it will become available for all of your events, and you can start setting up interactive booth maps. The second option down here is Display Attendee Information on Chosen Booths. What this means is that when someone is registering or when they're looking at the public booth map, if we have this option turned on and people have started selecting booths, as they look at these booths, they'll be able to see who has selected them, what company they're from, and they can also see a logo if the person decided to upload that as part of their registration. So this is a great way if you want to make sure that people can see who registered for what booths. You can turn this on. If it's not on, it will show that the booth has been taken, but it won't show any identifying information about whoever took it. And then the final option here is Disable Website Header and Footer on Booth Pages. The reason that this one exists here is that the booth map and the booth grid editor both need to be full width of the screen. You can see here, like normal pages in the system, they usually have a solid edge here and then some white space around the sides. The booth map, though, needs the entire width of the screen. Now, websites such as this one, our example one, it's no problem for it to show that in the middle of the screen. You know, everything's pretty horizontal. We don't have any borders on the side. Nothing is limiting that from showing up on the web page. However, if you're using an older site, or if you're using something with like a vertical menu on the side, or there's just certain layouts that won't work with the way that the booth editor is set up. That's what this option here is for. This will basically allow you to use the booth editor even if it's not compatible with your website. So if for whatever reason your website does not work with the booth editor, turning this one on here will allow you to still use it with your events and still be able to create those interactive maps. You'll also notice next to any of these, if you click the little eye icon, it gives you the same brief description of what all these things do. So if you ever forget what any of these things do, you can always click the eye icon. And that goes for pretty much anything else on this page as well. All right, well, once we set up these ones, I don't want to turn this one off because it works here, but once these ones are set up here, we can go back and we can actually start creating booth registrations for our events. So the way to do that is we go to Event Management, and then we go to the main event registration page here. And this is the same page that we've always had here. To turn on the booth registration for an event, we click Change, or if you're creating a new event, you can just click Add New Event. It comes to the same page here. And after turning on that configuration option, you see here that we have this new one right here, Enable Booth Registration for Event. As soon as we check this and save it, it's automatically going to start the process to create an interactive booth map, and it's going to set a lot of defaults for you that you don't even need to worry about for a while. You'll also notice here that when I click that, we enabled this option down here. And this is called Enable Booth Registration in Admin Mode Only. Now, there may be times when you want to create a booth map, but you don't necessarily want people to register for themselves. Or maybe you've got a registration ongoing and you're still working on the map and you still don't want people to be able to register while you're in process. What this option right here does is it still allows you to set up a booth map. You're able to create the grid. You're able to register people for it in admin mode. But when someone is registering just in normal mode for themselves, they will not see the booth map. So that's a good option for that. Otherwise, if we turn this one off right here, as soon as you go into register, you'll start seeing the booth map and you can register for booths. So it just gives you some extra flexibility there in terms of how it shows and how it doesn't. But like it says, admins can always override that option. Okay, so as soon as we save this one here, like I said, it creates everything for the booth map and we can start going into the editor from there. If we go back to the list here, you'll notice that any ones that have booths set up, they have this extra little option up here in the menu for booths, and that's where you'll click to go into the grid editor, which we'll cover in a separate video. I hope this was helpful, and by now you should know how to turn on and configure the basic options for the grid editor. Like I said, if you're interested in learning more about how to actually use the grid editor, please check out one of our other videos where we'll go into very in-depth on how to actually use the tools in there. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.